Hey everyone, Patrick Fundaro here from Visa Franchise. Today I want to speak to Canadians that are thinking about making the move to the United States. You don't want to hear from me the reasons why Canadians are moving. I'm sure you know that. In today's video, we're going to go through 5 ways that Canadians can move to the United States, whether you're a top professional, an investor, or entrepreneur. Before I go into how you can move here and the methods to how we can help you at Visa Franchise, let's give a little bit of context of what's going on in Canada and the numbers of Canadians that are moving stateside. So giving a little context, more than 15% of immigrants who were accepted into Canada between 1982 and 2017 left the country within 20 years of their entrance. According to a study from Statistics Canada, immigrants born in Taiwan, France, Hong Kong, Lebanon, and the US were more likely to go back. Also, a pretty shocking trend conducted by the US Census Bureau was the number of people moving from the United States to the US has exploded. In 2022, it hit 126,000 people, up 50% from 10 years prior, where it was 75,000 Canadians who made the permanent move in 2012. And we think the numbers are going to go way up as a lot of Canadians came down here on a temporary basis, like the TN, E2, and the statistics have not formalized with those temporary visas. So I can just imagine the coming years, 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 isn't out of the question. So many Canadians are leaving. I hear similar items where it's not the same country that you came to or your parents came to. Although I can't speak for other countries around the world, Europe, if you're considering moving to Mexico, Thailand, other places in the world from Canada, what I can tell you is the reasons why you moved to Canada and why your parents moved to Canada are probably pretty similar to why you might want to move to the United States. And yes, we have our challenges here in the United States. You have certain cities or neighborhoods that have high crime. You have social tension. You have the woke culture in certain areas. Some states have pretty high taxes in the same line with Ontario and some other provinces in Canada. However, the US is big. It's not one size fits all. You have 50 states, and some people might not like the high costs in New York or the high taxes in California. There are many other options like Texas, the Carolinas, Arizona, and also here in Florida that really attracts a lot of Canadians to move down here and make the transition with their family to the United States. So from business opportunities, lower taxes, great public schools, including teacher-student ratios that are state mandated and can't hit certain levels. There's a lot of different reasons why Canadians are preferring some of these states, as I mentioned, like Florida. In fact, here's what Mike Berman said when we interviewed him not so long ago across the state of Florida on the West Coast in Naples about his experience moving his family from Ontario to Florida. Don't hear from me, hear it directly from Mike Berman.
We didn't know how good it was here until we got here. Community, the people, it's not that stereotypical as you hear back home in Canada. Everyone here is very friendly, very welcoming. Coming from Canada, you have a few options. The best option worked out to be the E2 visa. We had the opportunity to buy the franchise, amazing athletes, and they already had a lot of relationships built for us that we could use to get into schools. Florida is a little bit comfortable for my family. We've been coming here since we were little kids. Really like the option of having this environment, this healthy environment where the kids get to play outdoors. They're not stuck inside because of the cold weather. And it really helps their mental approach to things. It helps their physical approach. And it's one of the safest places I've ever been. It was a kind of concern before we moved here that, Florida is a concealed carry state, guns everywhere. Aren't you worried about what's going to happen? But I've never felt more safe in a community being here.
Now here at Visa Franchise, we can help you in 5 different ways to make the move to the United States in a pretty fast manner. Maybe you're a first-time entrepreneur, you're employed in Canada, you don't know what to do in the United States, both you and your spouse would like to work, maybe while you manage the business. Franchising can be a great path. Number one option, you could buy a franchise, operate that business. We can work together with the attorney to set up a holding structure where the franchise acts as the anchor and build into a business plan that you're able to expand into other different business activities. So that's one option, buy a franchise. We can help you with establishing the company, getting the tax ID, business bank account, remote, business plan, sourcing the different franchises, as well as giving you access to our sister data platform, VetitBiz, where there's over 7,000 franchises, as well as well over 400 that are E2 visa friendly franchise opportunities. So that's number one, buy a franchise. Number two, start your own business or bring your own business from Canada to the United States. We've been helping a lot of Canadian entrepreneurs with that, anywhere from e-commerce to photography to different service related businesses, home services, office services. There are a lot of successful Canadians out there that have businesses that do 200,000, $500,000, $1 million of revenue that are primed to bring their company down to the United States. Pretty similar culture, especially in certain areas and states. So that is an option to consider, especially if you're already an experienced entrepreneur. We'd love to help you with starting your US affiliate or independent US business down here to be able to get the E2 visa. Number three is invest in a business. These are typically going to be for wealthier Canadians where they have a net worth generally in excess of 2 million Canadian dollars, and they're willing to allocate at least 250,000 Canadian dollars for a business that already has a day-to-day manager in place, and they're not going to have to allocate as much time to the business. So for those that are looking to invest in a business, we can help source the business opportunity, the franchise, also review the operator, but keep in mind that you should have other income because the yield on investment, if you're not working day to day in the business, is going to be relatively low. And then number four, this is for people at the top of their game, top talent. We're talking about high earners in Canada. So if you're making in tech, which generally a little easier with this visa category, over 180,000 Canadian dollars. If you're not in tech, probably over 250,000 Canadian dollars. There's no hard rule in terms of the income that you're generating one out of the last 3 years, but that's one of the requirements for the O1 visa, which is part of our Visa for Top Talent solution, where we'll help you with everything. There's 3 of 8 criteria that you've got to hit. We're going to help make the application as strong as possible. Generally, our clients are applying with 5 or 6 of the criteria met. That could be a membership in an association that is related to your work, and that it's not just accepting anyone. If you want an international or national prize, that would be another one. If you've been mentioned in the press or your company has been mentioned in the press, and we can tie it back to you. Also, if you've written articles that have been featured in the press, major media, could even be a trade journal. I mentioned the high compensation side. Also, you've been a major contributor at a corporation that is distinguished. If you've created original work in your field that can be verified with your peers in your industry, that is another requirement. So there are quite a few requirements to hit. We want you to hit 5, if not 6. Most of our clients come to us already with 2 or 3 that are pretty solid, and working together, we're able to make your application that much more solid and help you get the O1 visa. The difficulty though with the O1 visa is your spouse is not able to work. So for those top talent people that want to work in the US, want their spouse to work, there's an option. It takes longer than the O1, which might be a 3-month, 4-month process from the time you start working with us, and that's the EB1A. So EB1A, pretty similar criteria as the O1. There's 10 criteria, but for STEM professionals, for entrepreneurs, generally only going to be 8 criteria that are really applicable. The other ones are more for the performing arts. And for that, again, we aim for 5 or 6 criteria, even though 3 are required. The benefit with the EB1A is you get green card, right to green card, but the total process takes about a year to obtain the green card, so it takes longer. It's harder than the O1A, but you get your green card in one shot. You and your spouse are able to work in the United States without restrictions once you have a green card. So those are 5 different ways that we can help you, whether you want to buy a franchise, start your own business, invest in a business, get a visa for your top talent, or get a green card for your top talent. If you want more information about how you can move to the United States, as well as different case studies of Canadians that have already moved here on some of these categories, reach out, shoot me an email at patrick@visafranchise.com, as well as you can shoot me a WhatsApp message. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Fill out our client application to see how we can best help you and see if you're eligible for one of these 5 solutions that we're offering for our special Canadian clients that are looking to move to the US in the next 3 to 12 months. I hope you enjoyed today's video and look forward to catching you on the next one.